Hello again from my front porch. Or maybe I should say hello again because it was hailing earlier. And now, woohoo, it's still thunderstorming. You hear that wave of thunder go through? See, I knew that was going to happen because just before I started recording, there was a lightning flash. And so I knew that it was only a matter of time before that thunder boom rolled through. So we're getting scattered thunderstorms going through Des Moines right now to here today, which is actually a good thing. We genuinely, legitimately need the moisture. And so that's good. It's not like a torrential downpour. Well, it's done a little of that, but it's more of a consistent, just lighter spring rain kind of thing at the end of summer. But it's good and welcomed for conditions around here. And it's good for the lighting for the front porch because I don't have to deal with the harsh sunlight coming at me this way or this way and the shadows and figuring out where to play. It's nice. Even out diffused lighting, and so I'll take it. But the reason that I wanted to chat today actually has nothing to do with weather. That's just what's going on. I wanted to share something, a big change that I made, monumental life change, and really, seriously, it is a big adjustment. It's taken me some getting used to, and that is that about a month ago. Maybe a little bit more, but about a month ago, I cut the cord to my cable TV at least, and shifted to having all of my TV viewing via streaming services. Now, I have Mediacom here locally is the cable internet provider, primary one here, although there are others getting into the market. I had been doing my internet and my cable through them. Actually, I've been a customer of theirs for between here and in Des Moines and up in Ames, probably 30 years. During that time, I'd watched my bill continue to rise. Now, in full disclosure, on my cable, I did not have just the basic cable. I had other packages on top of that, like whatever the package is that allowed me to have BBC America so I could watch Doctor Who, and whatever the package is, it gives me History Channel to watch some of those things. I also had Stars and Showtime, I think, because there's some TV series and things that Showtime would do. Yeah, I don't know. And then I had DVRs and the on-demand and things. So, I had some bells and whistles, granted. But over time, that full package had continued to explode in its pricing until it was at a point where, seriously, my monthly bill to Mediacom was nearly $300. And I'm the only one using it here. and because of my work travel, I'm not even here watching all the time. And of all those channels on my cable, there were maybe a dozen of them that I would watch out of all of that. And so it just became a matter of this doesn't make cost-effective sense. And so I ran the numbers. And I figured out that I could drop my cable TV off of that plan and only buy my internet through Mediacom. And instead, I have Amazon Fire Sticks plugged into my TVs. I have a TV downstairs in my finished basement and a TV here on the main floor in my living room. I also have a third Fire Stick that I put in my laptop bag that I take with me when I travel for work. And so, well, hello. And so I've got these three Amazon Fire Sticks, and I try to have them all configured the same way with the same apps installed for streaming services, and then I signed up for the different streaming services. Now, it used to be when I had cable TV, I could do that, and then I didn't have to pay anything for a lot of the streaming options because I was already paying for the channel through my cable provider. But when I severed that connection, then I had to buy the access to the app directly. And so now I've got a variety of different apps. I was going to list these out before the show, and I just realized I did not. But I've got the ones you would expect. I've got Amazon Prime, I've got Netflix, I've got Disney Plus, I've got Paramount Plus, got Hulu, got Philo, got Stars, got other stuff. But then some other apps too, like History app and BBC America app. And some of those are ones you don't actually pay for per se, that you have to prove that you have access to a TV provider, which again used to be my cable. Now it's that Philo. If you're familiar with that, it actually shows a list of channels, and you can go down, you can see archived things, or you can watch what's on live right then and there. Oh, and BritBox, I guess that's the other another paid service I have. So now I can watch old and new Doctor Who whenever I want. But so it sounds complicated, and it is, because now instead of just having the one cable box that has pretty much everything that I want to watch in this one place, I have to go to my Fire Stick, and I have to remember which app. These shows are on this app. These shows are on this app. These shows are, and then I have to go find that app and pull it up and open it up and go get into it, and then I have to pay for that. And some of those apps are a monthly fee payment. Some of them I have set up on an annual fee payment, so just one time a year, and it's a lot cheaper than per month when you take that annual fee and divide it by 12. Again, it is more cumbersome. It's more complicated. From a convenience standpoint, I preferred the cable TV, no question about it. But from a cost standpoint, I am saving, by my calculations, at least $120 a month. Probably a little bit more, to be honest, but I know at least. And the reason I say at least is because some of the numbers are a little. I don't know if I calculated them exactly correctly with how the billings on these apps are staggered in different ways. But regardless, based on my preliminary calculations, I was spending nearly $300 a month, and now I'm actually getting more now than I was getting with the cable TV. I mean, more, because like Paramount Plus, I didn't have Paramount Plus, I didn't have BritBox, I didn't have these kind of things. I agree, it is a big deal. But some of them I already had. Like I already had Hulu, I had Amazon Prime, I had Disney Plus, Netflix. I already had all those services anyway, plus my cable TV. And so that didn't add any new cost to me because of those. I already had those things, and so it's really just the other ones that I've since added that were the extra cost. But now even with the Mediacom cable service added in and the streaming services, I'm saving a lot of money, and I technically have more options to watch. But it does take getting used to, because I was a kid who was babysat in front of the TV. That's how I grew up. Television has always been some part of my life, and I'm very much the type of person who sits down in front of the TV, grabs the remote, and goes, all right, let's just go through channels. Click, 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 click. Oh, that looks good. Let's watch that. That's who I have been. Not anymore, because, like I said, the Philo one, that can give you some of that. I do also have, there is the option, I have the digital antenna, so I can switch to that, and there are, I don't know, half a dozen, 10, I don't know, whatever, digital broadcast channels here locally where I could watch some local stuff, and some channels that have a lot of vintage TV shows and things like that. And so, I could always switch over to watch those as well. But I don't do that very much. What I generally do now, because again, this new paradigm with the streaming option, it's causing me to change my viewing habits. Now it is more that I am strategic in choosing what I'm going to watch on TV. I don't just sit down and start going through and go, oh, well, this looks interesting. No, I sit down, I'm like, what do I feel like watching? Do I feel like a movie? Do I feel like a TV show? Is there a specific TV show? There have been new episodes of a show that I want to catch up on. And then I just go out and I find. You got to remember which app it's on. That again is part of what's taking used to. It's a little bit of a nuisance that way. But you go find what it is, and then if you've missed 2 or 3 episodes, no big deal. You just go and you find the oldest one that you haven't watched. You hit play, you start watching it. and you'll go through that episode, and then it'll just go into the next one. It'll go into the next one. You know, the whole streaming online thing allows for that binge watching opportunity to be deployed here wherever. As I said before, my cable box, I had DVR option where I could, you know, see a show was on, and whether I'm going to be home or not, I can hit to record. I might be watching it and thinking this is really good. I want to keep this and watch it again. I hit record and record in DVR. I obviously don't have to worry about that now, because an episode of a TV show that I want to watch, I can just go out to the streaming service, go through episodes, find that episode at any time, and pull it up and watch it at any time. I don't need to record it and save it and do different things with it. If I really see something I really like let's say there's an episode of Ancient Aliens and I think, oh, that's a really good one, well, then I can go out to my iTunes and I can actually purchase that episode through iTunes, download it into my iTunes. Oh, by the way, that's another one of the things I have. I finally broke down and bought the Apple TV. Not the box device stuff, but just the app. And people say, well, why would you do that? Well, what I've discovered is all of the movies and TV shows that I have already purchased through my iTunes that I have in my computer and then I put on my phone to like watching the airplane and stuff when I'm traveling for work and things. I have access to all of that stuff through the Apple TV now in my Fire Stick as well. And so that's really great that I can, you know, whether it's downloaded into my phone or not. If I'm traveling somewhere, I've got the Fire Stick in my laptop bag. I can pop that into the TV in the hotel room, bring up my Apple TV, and I can watch some movie that I've purchased and downloaded, or some TV episode, without even having to go out to the other streaming services. This is the stuff I really know I like because I paid for it. It's right there. So there is a really interesting new convenience factor that these streaming services provide. And as I said, it's more complicated in some ways. I like the simplicity of a cable box, of being able to just go and pull up the cable guide and scroll down and find what you want and all that. And honestly, my personal gut prediction is that we will eventually get to a point where there will be some new streaming service warehouse that will emerge that will pull in these other streaming services, because they're going to increasingly find that their model is too expensive for them to do. Disney is already struggling under the weight of the cost and expense of the Disney Plus service, and you know what they're getting versus what it's costing, and so others are probably going to feel that same pinch. Disney, I'm sure, will be raising its rates for that reason, but you know, these different streaming services can only do that for so much before people start dropping off. And I believe they will coalesce so that we will basically, at one time, at some point in the future, return to the cable box concept, but for streaming services. And honestly, cable companies, if you're paying attention, what you ought to be doing right now is investing in the building out of a streaming platform that you then are in negotiation now with these other streaming services to encompass their product within your virtual online cable platform, so that you can be ready to pull those things together. And maybe they are doing that. Maybe we just haven't heard about it because they don't want us to know yet. But I predict eventually things likely will go that way because customers will demand it, and the economics of managing the streaming services will probably dictate it as well. But I digress. That's future for the businesses. From my side, as a personal level, and if you're thinking of cutting the cable cord, as it sounds like a lot of people are doing that around the country, then this is me sharing my experience with you. I don't feel, the only thing that I really have lost is like my local news and things like that, you know, specific local programming. But theoretically, I can get some of that on those digital broadcast channels. Now, maybe not everything, but I can get some of that there, and I'm told that I can access some of those local programming things even through like Philo and Philo. Maybe I'm pronouncing it wrong. I don't know. Philo. I say Philo. But I haven't gone looking for it because, frankly, I never really watch much of that stuff these days anyway. So it's not that big a deal for me. But bottom line is, I have saved a ton of money by making the switch from cable TV to having it be internet in my home with the streaming services. That's definitely a plus. I have actually broadened my options of what I can pull up and view. I have increased my flexibility as to when I can watch things and how accessible. I don't even just mean timing wise. I mean where. Like I said, I have 3 of these Fire Sticks, and with the DVR now. If I'd had the TiVo boxes, I could have kind of done a little of this. But the DVR boxes I had, you recorded a show and it was saved on that DVR box, that physical box. You had to return to that TV. So if I recorded it downstairs, I had to go downstairs to watch the show I recorded. I couldn't watch on the DVR box upstairs because they weren't connected that way. TiVo boxes would have been, so I could have done that. But now I don't have to worry about recording anything of that nature. I have 3 of these Fire Sticks all set up with the same apps accessible on the accounts all logged into and ready. And so whether I'm downstairs, upstairs, or I'm in a hotel room somewhere out on the road traveling for work, I can, and I pop in the Amazon Stick, I can pull up an app. I can pull up the same app and I can pick up, if I'm binge watching through a series, I can pick right up where I left off. It'll remember me because it's all the same account on that same app. Even though it's on 3 different Fire Sticks. So there's tremendous opportunity and flexibility that gives me that I did not have with my cable service. And the downside is the convenience. Is that there's a whole lot more to keep track of now. And so that's that. It's only been a month, so I'm still a little bit in the challenge stage with that. But I'm sure eventually it's going to become second nature. I want to watch this. I go here, click, 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 boom. And I'll get there. But it has been a successful experiment. Now, Mediacom, I'm sorry. As I said, I was a customer of yours for 30 years, probably, maybe more. And the reason that you lost me had nothing to do with your service, had nothing to do with your equipment, although there have been times where your equipment was flaky. But in general, you took care of me over the years. A few little hiccups at different times, but that happens. But the reason you lost me as a cable customer is because you made it just too expensive. And so it was simple math, simple cost. But from a convenience standpoint, I wish I still had my cable TV. If I was purely making a decision based on what I wanted for convenience, I would have sucked it up and paid the extra. But was that convenience worth $120? No. Not on them every month? No. So there you go. That's my personal experience with cutting the cable cord and shifting to streaming. I don't know if your experience is the same. I'm not going to claim that it would be the same for everybody. And if you are easily confused by the technology then don't do it. But if you're looking to save some money and you're looking to add some more flexibility and things like that, then check it out. And by the way, Mediacom, I am also going to be watching, and at whatever point fiber optic cable comes to my neighborhood, like Google Fiber or other services, you better be ready to match up whatever they're doing, because now that the only thing I'm getting from you is internet, I will be looking for my best internet deal when it's available. That's the new game in town. Sorry, I was loyal to you for 3 decades. But you priced me out of the loyalty, and so now that loyalty is gone. Sorry. Anyway, there you go. Oh, and it seems like the rain has let up. I haven't heard thunder boomers for a while. Maybe we talked ourselves right out of the storm. Woohoo! All right, well, I'm going to let you go, and I'll see y'all next time from my front porch.